Today I want to show you a really cool mod. It's called Arkadius Trade Tools. It's a bit unique, a bit different than the rest. You've probably heard of Master Merchant, and they are definitely different. So they both track essentially what you've sold, and it lists all the price and everything. So if I were to go to my guild store, immediately it would pop up and you'd be able to see that me as a seller, Advar of Solitude, has sold the following items. And it says how many days ago. I've been a little bit absent with selling lately, so you can see most of them are from a while ago. So one problem that people often have is they'll look at their Arkadius Trade Tools tab, and there'll be nothing in it. And they've sold stuff within the last 30 days. They just can't find it. Well, a lot of the reason for that is because Arcadis is only able to access the current pages that are cached in the game. So, to be able to fix this, there is something you can do for your different guilds to allow you to recover your log and be able to see everything that you've actually sold. So if we press G to go into guild, or whatever you are on the console, if you open the guild page and you go into history and sales, you'll see in here that it lists the sales for everybody. This is actually what Arcadis is pulling from and what Master Merchant pulls from. So as you can see in here, there's tons and tons and tons of sales. When you get to the bottom, you'll see it kind of stops and it only goes up to 2 days. That's the reason why Arcadis can't find all of the sales. So every time you press E, it will actually retrieve more from the server and load it onto your cache of your game. So right now it's taking a second. We'll wait for it to finish. I'm going to switch to my guild that sells more, and I'm going to press E. And there we go. Now it's loading stuff. So I can press E, and it keeps loading and loading and loading. And one thing to note is that you don't just want to spam E as fast as you can. Because in fact, if you load too many times in a row, it will definitely crash you. So you'll have to get back in the game. So all you want to do is just sit here and grind until you get up to date. The server will actually only pull typically 10 days worth. So once you get to 10 days, you know you're pretty much at the bottom of the list. Essentially, Arkadius Trade Tools and Master Merchant allow you to keep a larger history of what you've actually sold, which is 30 days compared to what the server actually has, which is only 10 days. One good thing to know about this tool in particular is that you can actually turn on sales for in your inventory. So enable prices in inventory. Now this is extremely helpful because sometimes you don't realize that you have very expensive materials in your inventory to start off with. So if I click I and I go to my ESO Plus unlocked craft bag, I can actually take the default all option and click on value, and it actually sorts it by what's most valuable. And another thing that Arcadis does is it actually adds this cool interface here that shows you where things have been selling for the last 30 days. So if you were kind of looking at Kuda and you thought to yourself, man, does this thing really sell for over 1,500? Well, yes it is, because all the green dots are between 1,500 and 3,000. So it takes an average of what people pay for it and it shows you on the screen, and then it multiplies it by how many you have. So I have 126,000 gold worth of Kuda. I have 86,000 gold worth of chromium grains. So the chromium grains go for 9,775 a piece. Drought wax goes for almost 8 grand. Heartwood goes for 308, and on and on and on. This isn't always the most accurate method of seeing what the prices are. So if you go to a guild trader and you open up a guild store, and say I go into apparel, light, and I want to search for, sorry, you gotta clear the search, and search. You're gonna see on here that it's actually trying to give you a value of what's worthwhile. So for these Ancestor silk gloves, it says that this is negative 99% in value. So somebody's trying to sell it for $199, and Arkadius Trade Tools thinks that it should be selling for $146. So it's straight up just telling you that that's the price. But if you look at Arkadius Trade Tools, you see that there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 that have actually been sold in the last 30 days. So there are certain items that just aren't sold enough through Arkadius Trade Tools that you can actually trust it. And then for other things, you can trust it more. So if I go to materials and I go into crafting and we search that, this is going to be a bit more accurate on some items. So if you go to something that's traded more like Rubio leather, you can see that there's tons and tons of transactions and that it on average sells for 16.43. You also want to use TTC to get correct prices. For the sake of this video, I turned that off. But the TTC recommended price is typically what I would go for. And TTC is just another mod that allows you to upload and download your transactions and allow you to find items all over ESO. And that's the basic for Arkadius Trade Tools. If you have any questions, just let me know. If I've missed anything, also let me know. I know it's a little bit confusing sometimes starting off because you load up a mod and you don't have all your history. So just remember you have to go into the guild and actually grind through all the pages to get your last 10 days. But after that, you'll be pretty much set to go. And once you play, 20 days in the future, you'll have a full history and you'll be able to see everything that's been sold, which can be extremely helpful because most of the time you come in and you go into your inbox and you just spam open and delete to everything. This way you can still spam and delete, but then you can go back later and see, hey, I sold my Glyph of Magicka for $349, and I was able to sell this this plating for $7,500 a piece, and I was able to sell this restoration staff for $400, or this Stonehusk fragment for $10K, etc. So, hope that was helpful. If you need anything, just let me know.